Now, the world's richest club of nations, the European Union, along with its allies, has for decades been the moral authority for the world. The bloc believes to have set the standards of democracy, of transparency, of accountability, of openness and values to look up to. Today, we're calling its bluff. For years, the West has consistently maintained that corruption is an Asian, Latin American and an African problem. Europe, for one, pretends to be a paradise without any vice. But the reality today is quite different. Europe and the United Kingdom have been hit by scandal after scandal. What a fall from grace. On this show, we've told you about how the European Parliament has lost all credibility. The Qatargate scandal continues to explode. New names are being added to the list of corrupt lawmakers. Millions of euros have been exchanged as bribes. Suitcases full of cash have been seized, and lawmakers have been accused of lobbying, graft, and of selling Europe's sovereignty to a wealthy country. The scandal has exposed Europe's hypocrisy, destroyed its ideals of transparency and accountability. Well, the UK may have exited the European Union, but has been battling the same issues in the last few years. We're talking about institutionalized corruption. In the latest, Joseph Edmund Johnson, or Joe Johnson, the brother of former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, has resigned from his position as an advisor to Befinity, a subsidiary firm of Binance, the crypto exchange. Reports say he decided to distance himself as demands for transparency from Binance grew. In a statement, the 50-year-old member of the House of Lords said, "I stepped down from the advisory board last week and have no role with it or any related entity." Some background now. The crypto giant is facing trouble gaining regulatory approval to launch operations in the UK. The company is already dealing with a possible indictment by the US Department of Justice. It considers filing criminal charges against Binance for violating anti-money laundering laws. Serious charges. The United Kingdom's House of Lords symbolizes so much that is wrong with the country. It has long been the only democracy in the world where membership of the national parliament is up for sale. A peerage is sold to party donors. There is an open embrace of corruption and a complete lack of accountability. Yet, no member of the political establishment will admit this. The country is also familiar with controversies related to its MPs and second jobs, moonlighting. Moonlighting MPs are earning more than ever from second jobs. The controversy began in 2021 after Conservative MP Owen Paterson was found to have breached the ministerial code of conduct by misusing resources, engaging in paid lobbying and failing to disclose interests. The controversy forced him to submit his resignation to the then Tory leader Boris Johnson. Reports say 1 year on from the scandal, UK MPs are making more than ever from second jobs. Despite the government's promises to clamp down on the practice, an investigation found that between October last year and September this year, MPs made more than £5.3 million from outside work. It is common for former cabinet ministers to take on new roles as advisors and non-executives in companies, especially those run by major party donors. Interestingly, the highest earners from second jobs also included former Prime Minister Theresa May. Imagine that. From lobbying contracts for the NHS during the pandemic to posh titles and even places in Parliament, there's a price tag for everything. Whether the British leaders accept it or not, but over the years, they have institutionalized corruption, normalized it. Europe and its corruption saga doesn't end here for tonight. Have you heard of White Christmas? No. I'm not talking about picturesque snow-covered streets in the UK during the holiday season. Drug shipments are making their way into Europe. Custom authorities in Belgium have seized 10 tons of cocaine worth more than $795 million in Antwerp. The joint operation by authorities in Belgium and the Netherlands is called White Christmas. It was launched to capture record levels of cocaine. Just last week, officials made a large drug bust. It's right out of a Hollywood crime thriller. 3.9 tons of cocaine was hidden in a shipment of bananas from Ecuador. Last Wednesday, another 4.8 tons in a second load of bananas was found in a shipment from Panama. A third similar shipment being sent to the Netherlands via Antwerp was hiding a further 1.3 tons. The total cocaine seizures for this year are expected to surpass last year's figures of 90 tons. Now, all this is worth more than $6 billion. So how are such huge amounts of drugs making their way into Europe? Is it because of the laxity of authorities or the leaders? What happened to the West's anti-corruption policy? Can Europe be the flag bearer of an anti-corruption campaign any longer? Can it really lecture other Asian, African and Latin American nations on accountability, transparency and fighting corruption? I'd just say this: it's high time that Europe reviews its own policies before giving lectures to the rest of the world. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.